The Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent reportedly telling a group of investors at a closed-door summit that was held earlier in the day today that the trade war with China cannot be sustained. This is unsustainable, and that the world's largest economies have to find a way to de-escalate, as he is said to have put it. Now, the White House also saying it is, quote, setting the stage for a trade deal with China. Again, as far as we know, no talks yet, but that, I think, it got in the market a little bit from Bessent as we bring in the chief economics commentator at the Wall Street Journal, Greg Ip. Welcome back, Greg. I'll talk more about this in a moment for our audience. I just want to point out that we were going to talk about Tesla's earnings as well. We'll talk about the economy, and I just saw the headline that the net income, which is the profit, was down more than 70% in the first quarter at Tesla. So we'll get into that in a moment. What do you make of what Bessent's doing here, Greg, if anything? I said earlier, it seems like he's trying to send a message. Hey, I'm not going to let this thing get too out of control.
First of all, I don't think it's that new. I think he has said similar things in the past that, like, some kind of a deal has to happen with China. And I think if you step back for a minute, Connell, I mean, of course, deals have to happen. You can't possibly have tariffs going up and up and up forever. And, you know, the administration has signaled to us rather clearly that it's essentially its path forward right now is to strike deals with all these countries over the next 90 days. But the big questions remain unanswered. As you said, there's still not even a meeting scheduled between President Xi Jinping and President Trump. I don't know how you can have a high degree of confidence that there will be a deal between China and the United States when the two aren't even talking. And the same goes frankly, for every other country, whether that's Japan or Europe or Canada, for that matter. Let's see what's actually on the table. Is the administration willing to accept what other countries are willing to offer? Because other countries do have their own constraints too. They have voters, they have farmers, they have other people who don't want to give away too much. And what are they getting in return? Is Trump truly prepared to actually offer a lower tariff in return? And how well can they take him at his word? I think a big question that has to be answered is, can they put this in writing, and can they actually bind the president to it? Because as we know, President Trump changes his mind a lot. And a deal that appears to have been struck 1 week may not actually hold 3 weeks later.
Now, if you look at how the economy and the financial markets are holding up, I think there's kind of an interesting dichotomy maybe that's developing here. Number one, on the tablet, you just look at the numbers for, say, first of all, the stock market, right? We have the Dow Jones Industrial Average. I know it was up 1,000 points today, but the stock or charts on the stock average have not been pretty. Then we've talked a lot about the dollar, the U.S. dollar, losing ground, right? And then I was interested the other day, you wrote something that all this is showing up everywhere except for the economic data. In other words, we haven't seen it really in the real economy yet in a measurable way. What did you mean by that? What do you say? Does that mean we eventually will?
I just think it's fascinating, Connell. I mean, like you, I spend a lot of time looking at the economic data, trying to figure out what's going on. And honestly, if you had never told me that the White House had changed hands in January, I couldn't see the difference in the data. The job growth numbers, the unemployment rate, even the inflation data are almost exactly the same in the 2 months that Trump has been president as they were in the last 6 months of the Biden presidency. You know, we had all these DOGE spending cuts. There's been no drop in federal spending. It's higher than a year ago. There's been almost no decline in federal employment. We've had all these deportations and a closing of the border. We see no effect on the labor force from that. And on the tariffs, we're just not seeing it in the inflation data yet. Now, that's the key word, of course, Connell, yet. Right. Everybody tells us it's going to happen. But I think what I'm trying to point out here is that we could be waiting quite a while. I mean, retailers have imported a lot of stuff ahead of tariffs. Yeah. It may be a while before those tariffs.
Does that also mean we have an offer that we could be saved from the worst case scenario still, that there's time?
But, well, that's the other point I want to make, and it goes exactly back to the point we're making about the markets, which is that these, you know, the economy and policy are endogenous. They actually react to each other. When the president announces really big tariffs and then the markets crater, well, he walks them back, right? So the very fact that the president is now aware, because he has seen the market data and the confidence data, that his tariff will have these potentially very severe consequences, will have an effect on his behavior. And it's no coincidence that following some very ugly days in the market, plus lots of CEOs and others talking about how bad the tariffs will be, that his entire team is now touting all these negotiations.
And we'll see what kind of deals they can cut and how many they can cut in the 90 days. As always, Greg, thanks. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.